Yes. Now, guys, we're back with a brand new episode, Heavy Hitters, episode 3. Introducing myself, Zishi, aka Z Boy, and my boy, Harris FND. That's probably the most shut out intro ever.
It's alright. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, Heavy Hitters, as my boys you just said. Today, I've kind of been planning this one out, what I want to talk about today. So, I'm going to take the lead if you don't mind, Zishan.
Of course, yes, go ahead.
Basically,
Yeah, go on. What's up with you?
I won't try. I want it to flow nicely, but I know what I'm going to say. But it's so much information to talk about. Basically, I want to start with this past week. I had an influx of comments from one profile basically who was like rinsing me on. He went like on all of my videos on YouTube, like from the new videos to my old videos, and was just sending really vile comments about me, my family, you.
Yeah,
just rinsing, everything and everybody.
what was he saying?
Forget what he was saying, just very nasty stuff. I've deleted them all, I've blocked him. But the stuff that he was saying basically is irrelevant. But it took me back to another time where I used to get that stuff quite a lot when I lived in Dubai and stuff like that. I used to show certain lifestyle things, and I used to get a lot of really negative comments, and I never understood why, because there was no reason I thought why I was getting these negative comments. Like, for example, a week before Cameron was born, someone commented, "I hope he dies at birth." You know what I mean? And I thought to myself, what have I possibly done to deserve a comment like that from somebody? And what are they getting out of it? You know what I mean? For commenting that kind of thing. And yeah, I just didn't understand it. And then through that and through loads of other comments like that I used to get before, it took me back. Because these people, they write these things online and they think that they can do what they want. They're hiding behind a profile. Now, there are ways to find out who these people are and to do something about it. People have done it in the past. It's very easy to find out who these people are and go deal with them. But they're hiding behind these profiles, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and they think that this online bullying and online negativity and hate they can do this, and it makes them feel better about themselves. We call them keyboard warriors. But to be honest with you, a lot of the time, what they're doing could cause a lot of damage. Like, Holly saw that comment. Holly's one that read the comment about "hope your son dies at birth." Imagine what that was like for a pregnant woman to read that comment. You know what I mean? She brought it to my attention, and I was like completely in shock with how someone could write that. I'd never dream in a million years of writing anything like that towards anybody, even if I hated the person, even if me and the person had beef, whatever. I wouldn't write something like that. You know what I mean? So for someone to write that.
So do you reckon it was, the comment that was said that, about your son,
Yeah.
is it the same profile that's doing it now?
No. They're all different profiles, bro, and you don't know who they are because they're all hiding behind a fake profile picture or no profile picture and a weird profile name. These people wouldn't say that to my face. If I was in a room with these people at the moment, none of them would speak up.
Well, at the end of the day,
You know what I mean?
let me tell you this here. You know these negative comments that you get, you're bound to get it, bro. You know what I mean? There's gonna be people that's gonna chat shit to you, man.
Yeah,
you
of
know what
course.
I mean?
But no matter, I've learned in life, no matter what you do, you're gonna get somebody who's gonna hate on you, bro. But that's not what I want to talk about today. That's obvious. That's just plain and simple. No problem. But that took me back to when I was in high school, and the amount of bullying I went through in high school, and obviously, just to give you a bit of background to you, even you probably know most of any, but and also to the viewers as well. I grew up in a household, because I had a disabled sister.
Right.
I grew up in a household where me and my family were more than usual, very kind, caring, gentle, just very, 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 very soft. Basically, my entire family, which is what was. It was kind of forced upon us when you have a disabled person in the family. That just makes you like that anyway.
Yeah.
So that was fine, but then that was my downfall when it came to going out into the real world, going to high school, and facing bullies and people who were not like that, who weren't brought up like that.
Yeah.
Watch out with the microphone, bro. It's rubbing against your thing, man. So when I went to high school, bro, I faced a lot of bullying. Obviously, I'm come from a mixed race family, so my mum's white, my dad's Pakistani. so all the Pakistani kids they bullied me and picked on me and didn't want to know me because I had a white mum, and all the white kids didn't want to know me because I had a brown dad, Paki dad. You know what I mean? So most of the time I kind of went towards the black kids because, as you know, the black kids they get the kind of same racism and discrimination as I was getting at the time. So I kind of mixed with them more.
Yeah.
But anyway. Just to, in between talking about this, I'm going to go back to a couple of stories as well, which stick out. And another reason why I'm talking about this as well is because last week when we finished the podcast, we went outside and we were talking and stuff. And Heddy, you mentioned that your cousin is in his one of his videos. Yeah. I was about 12, 13 years old. I was a year above your cousin.
Right.
Yeah. And I was in I was in class one day, I was just doing my workout. I always kept myself to myself. I was a bit of a loser in high school. I'm not ashamed to say I was a bit of a loser. I was a little short, fat kid. Kept myself to myself. Didn't have many friends. Didn't have a girlfriend until I was in college. So I was a bit of a loser. And I was in my class doing my work anyway. And throughout the whole day, it was a random day, but throughout the whole day, everyone kept coming up to me saying, "Oh, Omar's looking for you." I was like, "I don't know who Omar is. Why he'd be looking for me?" And they're like, "Yeah, he's gonna kick shit out of you."
Yeah.
I was like, "What do you mean? Why?" And genuinely, to this day, years and years and years later, I do not know what the issue was between me and him because I never met him before this point in my life, and I never knew him about him or who he was or anything. But everyone was saying, "Oh, this guy's tough. He's gonna kick shit out of you when he sees you." And everyone was like, literally, I've never been so popular in high school until that day when everyone knew that Omar was looking to kick shit out of me. Anyway, I went about my normal day and everything. Went home, and next morning, my mum dropped me off, or my dad dropped me off at school and drove off, and I walked through the school gates. And as I'm walking through the school gates, obviously a crowd of kids going in the gates at the same time, all of a sudden, this figure comes out of this corner of my eye and just gives me a right in my eye there. For no reason. It was Omar, yeah?
That was Omar, yeah?
Yeah, for no reason, right in my eye. So obviously I stumbled a little bit. It was a sweet shot, it got me right in the eyebrow out of nowhere.
Did you like fall or did
No, I stumbled back, but I froze because I'd never experienced bullying until this point. I never experienced anybody hitting me until this point. So I was kind of stunned. You know when you get stunned?
Yeah.
Someone hit you, bro. You get a bit stunned. So I was a bit stunned. I was stood there for a few seconds. I was like, how do I react? In my head, I'm thinking, how do I react to this now? Do I hit him back? Do I, tell a teacher? Do I cry?
And were there like
Do I
loads of
run
people
away?
around as well? Like,
Yeah. Everyone just,
and what were they like,
everyone
like this?
you know high school, bro.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, oh shit, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, my initial reaction was stunned, and then all of a sudden I just decided he was stood there waiting for me to react to do something else. You know what I mean? He was stood there like in the stance, and I just walked off into school. I didn't notice, but over the school day, I got a bit of a shine on my eye. So when it came to lunchtime, I'm walking out into the playground. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Omar gave you a black eye and all this stuff." Everyone's laughing at me and stuff like that. And
How old were you then?
I was 12, 13. I just started high school. It was the first couple of years of high school. First couple of years getting into high school and stuff. Anyway, long story short, that finished. I never spoke to him again. Never saw him again. It was just one of those random things. Still to this day, I don't know why he punched me. Someone might have told him I'd done something or said something, but I'd not. I was an innocent little kid. You know what I mean? I didn't do nothing. Fast forward, right? I don't know. I think it was about 10 years later. Now, when I finished high school, I was a loser. I went to college. In college, I found myself, as a lot of people do. Had my first girlfriend. Made loads of friends. I kind of evolved into myself, who I am to this day, pretty much in college. Left college, and I wanted a job to make some money. I did a couple of jobs. I was a pizza delivery guy. You remember that, don't you, bro?
Santa Claus as well at one point.
I was a fat kid, so I got a job as Santa Claus one year at Christmas time.
And I sat in his lap.
But one job which I got, which was mainly because of my size. I got a job. I enrolled for an SIA badge, which is a security badge, and as soon as I got my security job license, I was offered a job for one of the most notorious security firms in West Yorkshire, which was owned by two big, nasty geezers. One was called Andy, and the other one was called Mark, and they're well-known guys. They do a lot of boxing promotions. They're very, very, very tough guys, very well-known, notorious guys. And they used to run the security for all of the most crazy, insane nightclubs in West Yorkshire. And they put me on the doors in two of the most nutty nightclubs in Leeds. One was called Puro, and the other one was called Twilight. Okay, these are the two most rough nightclubs you can imagine. So they put me on doors there, and I started to become. I was a bit tougher at this point. Obviously, I've been through a bit more life and stuff. Anyway, one night I'm stood downstairs in the basement of Twilight nightclub, where all the shit usually kicks off, and I'm stood there, just watching. Always as a security guard, you're always watching as what could come about. You always got to watch, for what could happen, and then you deal with it. Anyway, all of a sudden, I see some lads walk down the stairs into the nightclub, and I recognise one of them, and he recognises me and he freezes, and I realise it's Omar. Obviously, last time I saw him, he punched me in the eye in the playground. Now I'm a security guard. I've got all my boys who are security guards in the place. They're all nutcases. They all beat people up for a living. I'm stood there, dressed in big black overalls, big gloves on, and he shits himself, thinking I'm going to do something. But it's not in my nature to do that. Even though this guy did something to me that I haven't forgotten for the rest of my life, I've not forgotten that he did that. That I didn't want to. I could have easily taken him, grabbed him, thrown him in the back, called all my boys and kicked shit out of him in the back. Nobody would have known about it. Because that was an occurrence all the time at these nightclubs. If there's someone does something in the nightclub, they don't just kick him out in these rough nightclubs. They take him in the back and kick the shit out of him. Then they throw him out in the back alleyway. That was a normal occurrence. I could have done that with him. But it wasn't in my nature. It wasn't in my heart to do that. So I just, he shit himself. I saw him. He went fucking pale white. And he just give me a little nod to see where I was at. I nodded back at him like that. Like, you're a dickhead. You did something to me when I was a kid which was uncalled for, unnecessary, but leave it there, you know what I mean? And that was just something I wanted to bring up now. Because you mentioned him, bro, last week, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, I know that name. And then I remember he was in one of his videos.
Which video was he in?
Dewsbury Drifters.
Which lad is it? Because
The chubby one, the big chubby one.
Is he the one that drives the car?
I don't know, I don't remember your fucking videos like that, man. But anyway, because you it brought back all his memories. Now this guy probably doesn't fucking remember me or what he did to me in the playground. I bet. And that's the thing. When bullies do things, they don't remember they did those things, but it stays with that other human being for the rest of their fucking life, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I bet that Umar.
Before we start into it, obviously, I don't know if the mic will pick you up or not, but I'm very sorry that.
No, it's okay, bro.
In that situation, obviously, I didn't know this is the first time.
I know.
You probably see me in shock. I thought you were gonna.
I'm surprised he's your cousin, bro. You seem like a nice guy. He was a dickhead. I'm surprised.
Things happen, and in school as well, especially when you're there, you get hyped up into loads of shit.
Yeah, it's different.
It could have been that someone. I'm not condoning what he said or backing what he said.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, it could have been that some people said, "Oh, you know what? He's a new kid here. At the end of the day, let's spread some shit and let's say he talk about your mum." Or talk about
you never know. I still don't know to this day.
That could have happened. But at the end of the day, I know you, Harris. At the end of the day, and you know what? You're a lovely guy. Same with my brother over here. And you know what? I wouldn't wish anything bad on people who are bad, let alone people that are good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, of course, bro.
And at the end of the day, he's my relative, but I want to say it to you as well because we're on the podcast, and I'm not just I want people to hear it, but I want you to know we don't come from a family like that. You know what I mean? And like I said, things happen in life. Maybe he regrets it. Maybe he doesn't remember, like I said. But on the behalf of sort of my family, I'd like to.
No. Thank you, bro. I didn't mean drop you like that.
No. At the end of the day, I would never want you to feel.
Yeah, of course, bro.
At the end of the day, I've been through bullying as well. Everybody goes through it in life, and whoever says they don't, they're full of shit. Because bullies are people who have been bullied. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that was uncalled for. You should have never been put through that. But anyway, before I start going deep and sentimental, just start pulling the Kleenex tissues out, I'll let you guys carry on.
No, thanks,
guys,
bro.
if Omar's watching this, he's probably thinking, fuck me, I was a cunt back then. But you know what? That must have been so many years ago that Umar can't really
he won't
say,
remember, bro.
I'm sure I'm sure Umar is probably watching this now. He's more mature, and as you being his relative, I'm sure Umar's changed as a person. I can take it.
No, this is just one example, bro. In general, when it comes to bullying, bro, it's just like.
We don't want Umar to watch this and feel depressed and stuff, but we want him to realize that No,
it's part of life. It's part of life, innit? But the whole point is, you have to be careful what you do and say to people, because what might be just nothing to you could be something that stays with them for the rest of their lives. You know what I mean? I'm very careful when I talk to people. I'm very careful when what I do to people, because I don't want to affect them in a negative way. You know what I mean? If I ever feel disrespected by somebody, or if I ever feel like something negative going on between me and somebody, I burn the bridge. You know how much I burn bridges, bro.
Well, he's quick at making contacts, but it's quicker at burning bridges.
I burn bridges so quickly because if I feel like you've even disrespected me in the slightest way, I'll cut you off, and that's me and you're done then. Completely
But that
done.
way, you probably get more enemies, and
Yeah.
whether that comment.
But I don't care I don't care about having enemies, bro. That's the thing. Like, I'd rather not have a negativity in my life than and have this guy who thinks he's my enemy now.
Yeah.
Bro, I've cut a few people off this week.
Have you?
Yeah, this week I've cut people off.
How many you cut off?
Don't worry about that, bro. But they know who they are.
It's
I've cut them
good you
off.
do that, because at the end of the day, why would you want someone in your life for so long and then only realise that they're a snake
Exactly.
a year on when you've invested a lot more time?
Life's too short. Life's too short for that, bro.
Money's not important.
There's that saying. I heard the saying the other day. If it hurts, cut it off. Yeah. I heard that saying the other day, and it's so true, bro. If this person is hurting you, or this person is bringing negativity to the table, cut it off.
It's like a tumour.
That's it, bro. Cut it off, mate.
It's like a
But-
phone, innit? If you got someone chatting shit to you, beep, cut it off.
But as I was saying, I wanted to go into something. What was it? Something else I was saying, bro. I don't want to make it too much about me because obviously I went through a lot of bullying. And I tell you what though, I've not seen the movie yet, but I got bullied a lot by Pakistani kids in school. Yeah, like they'd hold me down and hit me with a cricket bat and then bottle me with glass bottles and stuff like that. But then all of a sudden this movie came out called The Messenger, and I haven't seen it yet. But after that movie came out, all the Pakistani kids were nice to me then and brought me in as like a Muslim. So I don't know whether it talks maybe in that movie about.
What was it, Messenger? What film is that?
Obviously, it's about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Yeah.
When was that made? This film?
I was in high school when it was made.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it came out. Everyone was like, came up to me and said sorry for what they did to me and all that stuff, and then, all this stuff. So I don't know what happened with that movie, but I haven't seen it. But anyway. So yeah, what was my point though? Yeah, I mean, I could give loads of examples of bullying and stuff like that. But anybody out there who has done bullying or has been affected by bullying, I understand that bullying can affect you for the rest of your life, bro. You know what I mean? Like all my stories is just one of many stories, bro. I'm sure you've had experiences. Bro. So it's just, and it doesn't even have to be like high school, someone punching you out of it. Even it could be in the workplace, bro. It could be someone in your family bullying you.
But I think it's the way you take it. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I've been bullied, yeah? Not like, it's been like kind of, obviously I used to be a fat guy, but I still am a fat fucker. But like, they'd be like, like if someone goes, you fat bastard, but sometimes takes a piss at you, I laugh.
Yeah.
I genuinely, if a bully's trying to bully me, yeah, I'll start laughing, and then to a point they'd be like, this guy's fucking cracked, you know what I mean? Then they fucking just, they're alright with me, you know what I mean? Like, I remember once, the funniest one I had was like, you fat bastard, really there was 3 of you, but one of you started eating so much, there was triplets of you, but one of you ate so much that it became one fat cunt. You know what I mean? So I found that funny, man.
You know, when I moved to Dubai,
Yeah.
I gained loads of weight. I came back from Dubai, my dad said, you ate my son. Imagine that.
Guys, let me tell you this, yeah, one thing you can, bro, what's this? My echoes. Let me tell you this, yeah, when it comes to like different cultures, yeah, like for example, you could be a proper fat guy, yeah.
Could I?
I mean, but I mean, like, you could be looking at your worst, but if you go see, like, say for example, Cindy, yeah, I'm making her name up here, yeah, you go see Cindy, and like, hi Cindy, and you just wore a new jacket, she'd be like, oh my god, you look so lovely, oh my god, you're so stylish. But if you saw a guy called Sharaz or something, yeah, he'd be like, oi, what's happened to you, you fat bastard? You know what I mean? They be straight up in it. There's a big culture difference as well sometimes. Yeah. Like, if you want honesty, go to a Pakistani. If you don't want honesty, go to the westernized culture.
The thing is, you're saying that, bro, but sometimes the Pakistani who gives you honesty, sometimes it's too much.
Yeah, so they've got no filter.
It's not just honesty, bro. It's sometimes taking it to the next level and making you feel like shit. That's not honesty, bro. They think that let me say the most ruthless, hurtful shit to them because at least I'm honest. No, it's not being honest, bro. Like someone's forgotten that they're fat, or someone's forgotten that they're fucking bald, or someone's forgotten that they got a big nose and a hairy fucking ass. You know what I mean? Like, you say it to them in a certain way. But I've had it all my life, bro. I once walked into my auntie's house, yeah, and my cousin's wife said to me, "Look at the state of you." That's the first thing she said to me, bro.
But this is what I mean. The Asian culture, they tend to say it as it is, right in front of people, not like,
yeah, but
come
it's
to
bullshit.
the side, bro.
It's bullshit. It's less. They think it's cool, bro. I know how they think, and because I've been around it so much, they think, oh yeah, I'm being honest. That's fine. It's not fine. you're a dickhead. It's rude.
Yeah.
You've got no manners. That's what it boils down to, bro.
Yeah.
But they just think they fucking say what they want. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, man. It's like
I stopped going to some of my relatives' houses because they were so rude to me.
Yeah.
And then they'd be asking my dad, why has Harris never come round anymore? And my dad go, Harris, go to Auntie's house. I'm like, I'm not fucking going to my Auntie's house. Every time I fucking go over there, she's rinsing me.
Yeah.
So I'm not fucking going there no more. Then she'd be asking my dad, why is he not coming? I said, Dad, tell her that I'll go over, she don't fucking rinse me every time I go over. I'm not going over to get rinsed and have a cup of tea and come home upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. So
But I suppose
again, that's old fucking bullshit bastard traditions. Which I don't believe in that shit. You know what I mean?
But I suppose they might see it from a point of view that, yeah, if I say it straight, he might get motivated and start losing weight. Maybe that's
it's bullshit, bro.
that's the kind
Again,
of
shit
style.
mentality. But then again, I can't just diss the Pakistanis. I got to diss the whites as well because my wife comes from a white family. Yeah, they've seen me balloon to an unbelievable level, and they've not mentioned it to me once, bro.
Yeah.
They just lift the carpet and brush it underneath.
Yeah.
They've never once said to me, Harris, mate, bloody hell.
Yeah.
You look a bit big, aren't you? Because they know that they've got manners, bro. But it's the other side of the scale. The fact that they've not mentioned it, it's still on my mind. Like,
is that you could be eating.
Yeah, they won't mention it.
Harris.
No, they won't mention it.
You know
I
what
can eat like a pig in their house. They will not mention it.
Yeah.
But if I eat one biscuit at Dad's house, he's pinned up against the wall. You bastard! Look at the size of you. Stop eating biscuits. You know what I mean? So
It's one extreme to the other
It
extreme,
is, bro.
isn't it?
It is.
Like in the white culture, they'd be like, you could be wearing the most shot out shirt, look the most fucked. Yeah, they'd be like, hi Harris, looking dashy as usual. And you'd be like, oh yes, get the confidence. Then you go see a Pakistan, you'd be like, oh, you fat bastard, what you wearing, man? A duvet over here, you know what I mean? It's like crazy, they'd be straight up with you, man.
It's messed up,
And
man.
basically what I'm saying is, not all Pakistanis are like that, not all white people are like that, you know what I mean? There are probably people out there that just be straight up and honest with you, but the best approach is, if something's looking fucked, pull them to a side. Not in front of everyone, pull them to a side and say, hey mate, come on, calm it down, mate, calm it down.
Nice ways of going about it. But
Exactly, bro.
I agree with you.
Just have manners, bro. Manners it doesn't cost nothing to have manners.
And at the end of the day, they wouldn't like it if someone said that to them.
Yeah. I could turn around and roast in my entire family, bro. Aunties, cousins, uncles, all that stuff. Like not cousin. I'm not talking about specific people, like, because them watching right now. I think, what's the fuck want to say to me? It's not about that. It's about like just whoever I fucking meet, bro. I've got manners. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna say anything I'm not gonna say something that I know will hurt someone's feelings, bro. That's just the way that I've been brought up. Some people haven't been brought up like that, bro. And they'll say what they want, no matter who it hurts. And it's just a fucked up mentality to have, bro.
What can you do, innit? What can you do?
Sorry for swearing, by the way. We had a lot of comments saying stop swearing so much. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna try and tone down a little bit.
I do apologise, but...
It's just that sometimes when the passion comes out, the swears comes out. But
No, yeah, but at the end of the day, if we swear... You know, one thing I don't get, yeah, is when people say, children are watching this, you shouldn't be swearing. You start thinking, you know, these children, they're eventually going to grow up and they're going to hear this shit anyway, you know what I mean? All we're doing is we're advancing their stages, you know what I mean?
And there was a disclaimer at the start.
There is a disclaimer as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of things we like about cultures, we don't like about cultures. Now, one thing I don't like, I'll be honest with you, some people might hate me for this, yeah, but I don't like weddings, Asian weddings. That was one of the topics
Don't
that
get me
someone
fucking
mentioned
started
in the
on the
comments.
shit, bro, please.
Bro, Walima, Mendi, Bharat, I gotta get a dress for Bharat, got a dress for Walima, got some jutiyan, gotta get fucking, you know, this, that, all that money just spending on that stuff.
Let's just pause for a second, yeah? And the most blown shit that they do on these Asian weddings now, yeah, is set off fireworks in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah.
I'd never gonna understand that, bro. All you can hear is... You look in the sky, you can't see nothing but the sun, bro. Why are they wasting 150 quid on fireworks? Do it at night time, you blown bastards, bro. I don't understand.
It's just crazy, man. It's just, you know, if you think about it, what is it? It's all like months and months of like preparation, only to boil down to them sitting down in a chair and going, ching. Someone else comes in the middle. Congratulations, guys. Ching, you know what I mean? And just walking off. That's it, man.
Well, I did the Asian wedding movies for about 6 months, and it's completely put me off Asian weddings. But I don't think I could attend an Asian wedding ever again, bro. I'm telling you, just what I've seen what I've experienced with the Asian weddings, man.
There's a lot of bitchiness in the Asian weddings as well. You always get like people like saying, "Oh, the food was shit, the stage was crap, the venue was crap. Oh, did you see Lula's dress? Her tits were looking droopy in it." You know what I mean? It's like, what was she thinking wearing that dress? Yeah. It's always like just random ass comments and like kind of, "Oh, the food wasn't nice." And plus, I get bored of the Asian food, man. I'll be honest with you. It's always the same thing. Sikh kebabs,
masala fish, Sikh kebabs,
masala fish. Masala fish is only, you can tell if they got masala fish, they're pushing the boat. You know what I mean? and the desserts are always the standard. I don't want to say
carrot halva.
No, gajarela.
Yeah.
With a bit of ice cream or that kheer. And I remember once, me and my boy were at this wedding, and he was literally on the table. He had like, the kheer, that dessert.
Rice pudding.
He was literally about to put his, spoon into the plate. So imagine this is a table and he sat like this and he's about to do it, and this fat, and I mean, there's levels to this shit when it's fatness, innit? You got medium, large, extra large, innit? Yeah. She was on the top scale, innit? And she's like walking like this, pushing through people, and she's got like a bowl of kheer with the spoon in it, and as she's walking, as my boy's about to eat, she's walking past and she hits his chair. Literally his chair goes from this angle 90 degrees like that, so he's got fuck all dessert. He's just like, above air, you know what I mean? And he's like, what the fuck? He looks back, and then the fat bitch just turns around and she goes, "Where's my spoon?" I looked at that, I just couldn't stop laughing, and he looked at me. You know when you both make eye contact and you look at the person, and the fat fucker's expression is like, "Where's my spoon?" I thought, you funny cunt.
Bro, you fucking up the whole sound like you did.
Now you need to go in for the third clap.
Fucking don't clap anymore, dickhead.
Every time I hear a clap, it reminds me of that song, "This Is How We Do." With 50 Cent.
This is how we do.
No, it goes like this. It goes.
This is
No, there it goes.
we do.
Oh, fuck's
No,
sake.
it doesn't do that, bro. It goes. Fucking club.
We just need to escalate now.
The door's open.
Yeah, so like we were saying about weddings, I'm not a big fan. You're not a big fan.
Yeah.
That's probably a common ground that we both share. And it's... Sorry.
It's worse when you're not married. Huh? Come up to you, you're not married.
Yeah. I've never experienced that, bro, luckily.
Oh yeah, we've got so-and-so waiting for you, we've got so-and-so. It's like you're at a Tesco queue in the COVID situation,
It's crazy.
You've got a line that's going all the way around and they're all just checking, they've got like a checklist. Oh, so what do you do? Or do you work? What do you work? Are you a doctor? Oh, my daughter's a nurse. You guys go hand in hand.
Sometimes the mentality is a bit messed up, innit? Like sometimes when they do this arranged marriages, they look at the person's, the person's value, their work and all that kind of stuff, his attributes to match with the girl, innit?
Yeah. Bro.
And if you let me finish, I'll tell you what my point is, innit? Go. Sometimes parents will overthink it to a point that he has to be in a good job, he has to have money, he has to have this, but then they forget the actual person, the person himself, like how is he as a person. For all you know, the daughter that they're giving away, that guy could be kicking the shit out of her in the future.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, as long as auntie can look at the other auntie and go, my daughter's married to a politician, you know what I mean? They're happy, aren't they?
Bro, my dad got sent this Excel spreadsheet by one of his aunties you're talking about, yeah? And he let me have a look at it. He goes, let me know if you're thinking it was good for your sister. I said, how the fuck am I going to know for Excel? How am I going to know?
Excel, what do you mean?
For like a spreadsheet, bro.
Yeah.
Well, you fucking
I know an Excel sheet, but why is he giving you an Excel sheet? But was it like a list on it or something?
Yeah, the list. So the auntie sent me that list. She's like a pimp, isn't she? She sent him a fucking booklet that thick of all these guys she's got listed down.
Yeah.
If we like him, we'll highlight him, and then they link him with my sister or whatever. So my dad said, give me this. He goes, have a look at it. Let me know if you're thinking of anything for Alicia. I said, how am I going to know if a guy's good off a fucking Excel spreadsheet for my sister?
Just a fucking name.
Just a name and a job on a piece of paper. So I'm looking through anyway. I don't know why, but I just thought, fucking, let me have a look through. So I'm flicking through, bro. And I know most of them are like 6'2", doctor, handsome, full head of hair. Flick through. 4'1", taxi driver. I'm like, what the fuck? We've got a Hobbit taxi driver on this list. What's
That's
going
why
on?
it was on the third page.
Yeah. But I'm flicking through, and they're just getting shorter and shorter. Bald, ugly bastard, taxi driver, but he'll love you. He'll love her. You know, like, bro, this spreadsheet was so fucking
You bastard,
mental,
that
man.
sounds like me.
Well, these mics are temperamental, man. Careful, bro.
Okay, no. But
We got a bald hopping taxi driver here.
but yeah, man.
I'm definitely a strong believer of marrying your best friend, or at least becoming friends first, then just taking time with it, and then getting married in that way. If I'm telling you, if you're friends first, if you become friends first, then you get married, your marriage will be much happier. Whereas if you get married blindly, it's very, very, very risky. Like, back in the day, it was all right. Like a lot of my uncles and aunties and stuff like that, they got married like that.
Arranged marriage.
Yeah, but because but back in the day, they grew to love each other.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's hard to do that shit, bro.
You know, I don't know if you...
People fucking hate each other these days, bro.
I don't know if you know yet, but you know, in the Asian culture, what they tend to do is they marry within castes.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Or family.
Yeah, but-
Keep it in the family, innit? Like,
Keep-
marry your cousin and that.
Yeah, so what do you suggest about, what's your opinion on like caste marriages and stuff like that?
My opinion is throw all that old tradition shit off the table, yeah? Yeah, throw it all off the table and just get out there. I don't mean shag about, don't become a slag, yeah? But get out and see the world. There's a much bigger spectrum. There's much more fish in the sea, yeah? Now, me and Holly, for example, I can only take myself, for example, yeah? Me and Holly, we were friends at first. We met through mutual friends and stuff like that. We were talking online for long. Back in the day, MSN days, we used to talk online for ages. Then we go out cinema, go out for a meal or something like quick Nando's, whatever, and we got to know each other that way. And we became comfortable around each other. We became very good friends. Then from there, I asked her to become my girlfriend. Then from there, 4 years, then I proposed to her. All this shit, bro. So now I feel like I'm very lucky and blessed to have a very strong marriage because we built the relationship from the ground up, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas some blonde bastards will close their eyes and go, yeah, come on, and then they got to fucking work on that shit, and you might be complete polar opposites, bro. And it's just fucking. It's not a joke. It's the rest of your life. If you have kids together, that they're the next generation, and you're building on shit foundations, bro. You got you don't fuck about with this shit, man.
Yeah.
That's why people are fucking miserable, bro. People are miserable. Like, then that's when cheating happens, and that's when fucking that's when downtrodden wives they fucking do runners and all that shit, bro. You know what I mean? This shit happens, bro.
It's all about communication when it comes to marriage, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, I know people who've had arranged marriages or married, without.
Some people have arranged marriages, but they're fucking on the side. Let's be honest, let's be straight. And then there's some people that just, not happy in the marriage.
That fucking rolly, bro.
That's a fucking
Get money.
rolly.
Hey, tax money, yeah, don't watch that.
Well, yeah, like I was saying, where was that, man? You just got me off my top.
Sorry, bro, you flashing this fucking rolly in my face. What do you want me to say?
I'm not
You
flashing
talk
it.
about arranged marriage.
He's doing all that shit in my face, bro.
Arranged marriage, isn't it? Like, so,
It's a flick of the wrist.
It's like, I'm like, oh, hey, what, rolly? What the fuck?
you know, people were saying there was a flickering going on in the background. It was because of this corner, you know what I mean?
You were in it last week, I'm telling you, bro.
Bloody memory card.
I know, yeah. But yeah, what was I saying about arranged marriage? I was saying that, yeah, some people be messing around when they're married. It's just to keep the family happy. But then you've got people that just, are just miserable because they've just had the wrong choice in it. And then they just end up like messing around in it. But at the end of the day, it's all down to having a good relationship and communication.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean?
it's alright, yeah?
Yeah.
It depends what you want, bro. I know some girls who are married to absolute fucking dirtbags, bro. But these dirtbags have got so much money that they're giving them the lifestyle that they want. So they're weighing up the fact of they're living the life of a royalty, but the husband's not in the bed next to them at night time.
Yeah.
So they're going for they'd rather have the money. So some people are with guys who have got no fucking money, penniless, but they love them and show them so much love, and they're with them, give them attention, all that stuff. So it depends what you'd rather have. There's obviously there's two sides, but I've been advising my sister, and I've been telling her, don't get trapped in this whole stigma and mindset of rushing into something.
Yeah.
Because you're getting a bit older every year, going past people that'll give you stress and stuff like that. My dad wants my sister to get married before he passes away. In his mind, he didn't want to pass away without my sister being married and have a husband looking after her and stuff like that. That's my dad's mentality, which I see his side as well of the story, obviously. But that doesn't mean she's got to rush into something and then it be a regret the rest of her life. You know what I mean? It's a very, very, very sticky subject, bro. not something I really want to talk about because it's other people's lives I'm talking about right now. It's not really nice, but you know, it's all you know, well and good. Me sat here happily married with 3 beautiful kids, bro. I'm sat here saying you should do this, you should do that. I can't do that, bro. You know what I mean? People got to do what they got to do.
Everyone's got their own journey, innit?
Everyone's got their own journey, bro. Everyone's got their own journey, man. Trust me.
You can't just be like, yeah, look at that guy, yeah, he's alright, yeah, marry him. You know what I mean? It's not gonna work like that. End of the day, it's just gonna be like who she feels comfortable. Obviously, the thing is like
you got to go out there. You got to test the waters, bro.
Yeah, but in that-
I don't mean shagging. I do not by any means mean shagging. Yeah, I don't mean shagging. You got to go out. There's no harm. There's no harm in going on a couple of dates, talking to someone, seeing if the breast smells like dog shit or not before you fucking marry them. You know what I mean? Going to see if you're compatible, if you're at all compatible, and then if you're not compatible, like I said earlier on, cut it off. And if you are compatible, have a couple of dates. What do you think, Heather, bro?
Yeah, I feel the same. I think obviously sometimes I believe as well that the first initial date you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, of course, bro.
Because what can happen is sometimes people are shy.
Yeah, 100%.
So
I was shy, bro, when I first met my missus.
Yeah, so you can start talking and realize, wait a second, this guy's so like full of himself because he doesn't want to talk or he keeps looking at himself. It's because he's probably insecure.
Yeah.
You know, like women think that they're the only people that are insecure, and it's a very sensitive topic that men don't talk about. That, you know, men are also insecure.
Yeah.
You know, men have feelings as well. Yeah, you know, we like to be seen as, you know, macho man and caveman that comes out of the cave, you know, with a big massive mallet and, you know, looks for food and stuff. But men have feelings as well.
100%, bro.
That's why I think a lot of mental health issues happen. Going back onto last podcast.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it happens, because a lot of people have this sort of image of men being the strongest thing in the world. And you know what it is? A lot of men. You know,
Men are probably more weaker than women, bro.
Yeah, some of them
mentally,
are.
100%, bro.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, women, the thing with women is at least they have their time. Not their time like, oh my God, they have a selective time where they cry, but women are quite hormonal anyway in certain times of the month, and men don't really have that. So because men don't have that, women think, oh yeah, guys are perfectly, they're 365 days, they, you know, injected with tiger blood or something, they're always alright. But that's not the case. That's why it goes back to what Z said, you know, it's always good to have that communication, because you don't know what someone else is feeling. Just because that person's not talking to you and you think, you know, my husband's been a right dick today, he's not talking to me, but he could have had 101 things going on in his head. And men don't project their voice as well as women do. You know, when women, you know, a woman doesn't like something, she goes, oh yeah, I don't like it. You take it to a takeaway or a restaurant. Oh, I didn't like that food.
I feel like men struggle to explain themselves a lot as well.
Yeah, it's like for example, a man will do something to the third eye that might just look so daft. Like for example,
third eye?
Huh?
What do you mean third eye? Sounds
You know,
funny,
I mean, like kind of, you know, if your wife just goes, look what he's doing, you know, to the next man, like a third eye, it'd be like kind of, why you look like that for?
Bro, your third eye means your dick eye, man.
Is that what, does it?
Yeah, you got 2 eyes there, one eye there, bro. What are you fucking on about?
I'm on about like kind of, you know, like a third person. Fucking hell. Have you heard of that third eye is your dick?
Third eye.
It's either your dick or the fucking one in your forehead that say, you know, like an evil eye, whatever. Your third eye, I don't know, bro.
I don't.
Just say a third person.
Alright, so third person, yeah, like for example, you know, men.
Fucking Pirate Jack third eye, yeah. Oh, I'm watching fucking nutcase, bro.
What I meant to say is
so your wife says to the third person, look what he's doing, yeah?
Yeah, look what he's doing. Like he comes home, you know, just starts playing games. But they might not realise, I'm not saying that my wife does it, but I'm just saying that,
Like
you know...
PS4, you mean?
Yeah, so a guy might come home from work and play a bit of games and stuff like that, but wife might not understand it, like says to the next player, look what he does, he just plays on games after he works, doesn't spend time with me. But people need to realise that sometimes a man just needs to just switch off and just, you know, like go into a world where he can just explore, kill, do whatever the fuck he wants to do, you know what I mean? Just stay away from the, you know, just stay away from the reality.
Explore, kill.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's true though, innit? Like you must do some, you know, like when you, after you come home and you might just have like one standard shit that you might do, you know what I mean? It could be like even going to the toilet and taking a standard shit, you know what I mean? And like staying there for 1 hour and your missus be like, why are you in the toilet for 1 hour?
I spend about 45 minutes on the shit every morning, going through my emails and messages and that stuff. And that's my time, bro. Then I have a nice shower, that's another 15, 20 minutes of my time. Then I get dressed. Now, in this all this time I'm spending in the bathroom and fucking around, she's downstairs giving the kids breakfast, getting dressed for school. So, you know, all respect to women, bro. Women, without women, bro, we could not fucking do what they do. I'm telling you. From my mother, seeing what my mother did for me and my sisters, seeing what my wife does for my 3 kids, bro. Women, I've got too much respect for women, bro, in general. There's no way us men could do that shit, bro.
You know what the crazy thing is? Women shape the future for men.
Yeah.
As they're growing up, yeah.
My mum brought me up. My dad was out working. But I didn't see my dad till I was 16 years old, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. All my childhood, my dad was working, which is respect him for that. But my mum brought me and my sisters up single-handedly because he was out having to work, bro.
Yeah.
And same thing now. I go out to work. My kids see me in the morning and they see me at night. I'm working like every man does.
Yeah.
So the mothers bring the next generation up, bro. They bring
The
kids
man,
up.
the man keeps the shelter over,
Yeah,
while
yeah.
the woman says,
He's in the shelter.
yeah,
She's
and
in
the
shelter,
woman's
bro.
like, "Hey, baby, take these directions to be flourished."
fucking
You know what I
hell.
mean?
I think men are underrated, to be honest with you. Like you just said, women do a great job.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why. Even my father.
Yeah.
You know when my dad used to work in Smith and Nephew in Birmingham. That's where we're originally from. And down in Birmingham, when he used to work there, he used to get like £5-6 a week. Now I never got to see my father.
£5-6 a week.
That's what it was.
Back
It was
in days,
it was
innit?
10, 15
Bro, how long ago was that?
Like 10-15 pounds. a week,
Listen,
tops.
I think what we should do, yeah, because obviously,
You used to get 2 shillings a week.
listen,
I only had 150 euros.
You used to get 2 farthings.
2 farthings a week.
listen,
You just throw him like that.
listen. Hyder's out of the shot. Yeah, I think we might as well get him a mic, man, innit? Because think about it, with
think
man
we'll do it for
talking,
the
we're
next
doing,
one, because,
it's gonna be sounding thingy. We might as well
No,
come into
I
the-
can hear him in the fucking headphones, you nutcase.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that. But audience might be like, "Who is this guy? Bring him in, man."
It's Casper, the friendly ghost.
The guy that never shows his face. It'd just be like,
The reason why my name's Hyder.
Hyder, I just got it, bro.
people be like, "Who is this fucking guy? Why did you come in the podcast, man?" We're like, "Cause Hyder's hiding."
Bro, without Hyder, they wouldn't be seeing us right now. Without Hyder, they wouldn't be seeing us, bro. Do you understand?
Yeah.
They'd just be hearing us, not seeing us. No one listens to this shit without seeing it.
I do believe so. Yeah.
Anyway, I got a comment last week.
Fathers are underrated.
Fathers are overrated.
Yeah, underrated.
Yeah,
I think
they are,
personally
man.
because obviously, like you said, we only get to see our fathers, especially in more Asian cultures, Western cultures. They do a lot.
Yeah.
They break their backs to make sure that they're in tune with their children.
Yeah.
Whereas I find that our sort of cultured parents, the mother's constantly housewife and the father's the provider, and the father is overlooked.
Yeah,
Straight
yeah.
up and honest with you. But I think that's another topic we can go a bit deeper in next week.
Yeah, you can go much deeper into fathers and mothers, bro.
Yeah.
It's a big topic to talk about.
The comment you were gonna say.
Yeah, there was a comment. It was completely opposite, bro. I was changing the subject, to be honest with you, bro. So if you want to continue talking about it, talk about it, bro.
No, I think with parenthood, yeah, like obviously it plays a big effect on your life, innit? You know what I mean? And sometimes, like when you go back to the bullying part of it, like when you were saying that you were getting bullied, sometimes it could be like that, their upbringing is totally different to ours, like, whereas ours has been like, nourished well. Them kids might not have that same, that same kind of level of interest like our lives have been like, you know what I mean? So it is crazy, man. Like obviously,
the thing is, I don't know because
like imagine like people that are going through divorces, yeah, and they got a kid. I swear to God, man.
the things that the kids are seeing, you don't
they just
realize
be like this.
it's
They be
gonna
looking
shape
at you
them.
like
Bro,
what the fuck's going on?
even the smallest things that will affect a child will stay with him, bro.
I'll tell you something. Yeah, this is quite interesting. Yeah, sometimes I do these like kind of, fun little type experiments, innit, around my son just to see like how his mentality is. He's about 2 years old, yeah. So like for example, my missus I'll just be like, listen, I'm just gonna come near, yeah, just start screaming. I want to see what he does, innit.
What?
Just obviously not like to the level of just like just like kind of playful. And as soon as she goes I see him like looking at her like, mommy, like he starts coming up in it. Or then sometimes what I'll do is I'll be like, I collapse on the floor like as if I hurt myself in it, and he'll just come up to me and he'll be like, and he'll just like put his, like when you have like a dog that fucking gets hurt, and then the little pup comes up and they just like lay against them like to see if they're okay.
You've never had a fucking dog before, bro. How do you know dogs do that?
I saw bloody, them animated movies, Disney movies, you know what I mean?
If I let my dog fucking doesn't give a shit if I fall on the floor, bro.
Fuck
I can
yeah.
tell what his son's gonna be. He's gonna be a paramedic.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like it does affect the kid, you know what I mean? It shows like that they are aware of the
The
surroundings.
thing is, I asked myself, yeah, like I've just enrolled my oldest son in boxing, yeah, he's starting next week. Now this is just so that he knows how to do something if he needs to do it. Just like when I started boxing at Sharkies in Leeds when I was my dad saw that I was getting issues at school. I didn't tell him about it. I should have done, but anyway, he saw there was a few things going on at school, so he took me to this Sharkies boxing school in Leeds, which still running to this day. Sharky's an old man now, but he's still one of the best trainers. And he taught me the absolute basics of boxing, which I still know to this day. Like I went back, I went to started boxing last night in a gym down the road from where I live, and there's this old man there called Dave who took me on the pads.
Carmen Gym, big up to the Carmen Gym. And you know, the good guys, man, I've been going there, man. Big
Anyway.
up to Gandhi, big up to Fizz.
Anyway, so
you know like when you big up people and it's such a shit big up that it's just like fucked up. Big up to Gandhi, go on.
Anyway, long story short, I went boxing yesterday and the owner of the gym, this old man looks like Mickey from Rocky, yeah? I walk in the gym and he goes, have you ever done anything like this before? I said, not in a long time, but when I was a young kid, 12, 13 years old, 14 years old, I went to a gym called Sharky's in Leeds. He goes, oh, Sharky, I know Sharky. And he took me in the pads and the way I throw punches and stuff, like, I know how to move and how to punch because of what Sharky taught me when I was a little kid. You know what I mean? So these things stay with you. And the guy was impressed that I could punch the way I could punch and move around the way I could move around. And it just made me think, bloody hell, man, this guy's taught me basic boxing when I was a kid. And that's what made me enroll Cammy now. I'm thinking, let me enroll Cammy in boxing and see, maybe it'll help him. He's got so much bloody energy as well. As you can see when I put him on vlogs and put him on my Instagram stories and stuff, he's got too much energy. So
you know what you should call him if he does like professional boxing, Cammy? Call him Kamikaze Cammy. Bada energy in it, you get me?
Anyway, but then I'm thinking to myself, what would my advice be to my son if he comes home from school one day and says somebody's picking on him? And I don't know, because I know that when I was going through life and I had people like your cousin who punched me, and then after that there was this kid called Parminder who used to always bully me, and he used to have
Parminder, the guy with he used to have like braids in his hair.
Yeah.
He used to always look like Jay Sean.
Yeah.
Jay Sean.
Sean Paul.
Sean Paul.
Anyway, he had this big thick.
I remember that guy.
He had,
looking like Sean Paul.
No, he's a Sikh guy, but he used to take his hair and put like braids, braids.
Yeah, he never used to start going Shandabal.
He had this Sikh bangle about this thick, bro.
Yeah, and he used to just drop it to fight in it.
Yeah, he just drop it in his knuckles when he had a fight. Anyway,
Well, he just used to wake into weapon.
yeah, so like he had a bang. He used to pull it over his knuckles like that. Yeah. So big, bro. The thing was like that thick.
Yeah.
Pure flipping steel or whatever.
It had dints in it as well. It was
Yeah,
like made for fighting.
he'd pull it over his knuckles, so it was like a knuckle duster, and he'd fight and bust people up with it. One day I'm in class, bro. I remember it was English class, and my English teacher was one of those teachers. You know, some teachers in our high school we went, bro. They'd see shit, but they wouldn't do nothing about it. Remember?
A lot.
Because it was such a rough school, bro.
Yeah,
They'd see it and think, oh fuck, I'm not getting involved in that shit. Let them fucking kick shit out of each other, right? So I'm in class, bro, and the teacher sees this happen, and do nothing about it. I'm sitting in class writing. He used to sit behind me, and for no fucking reason, bro, I swear to God, no reason, he stands up, pulls the bangle over his knuckles, and punches me right in the center of my back, so hard that I couldn't breathe for 30 seconds, bro. I couldn't breathe. All the wind was taken out of my lungs.
For no reason.
For no fucking reason, bro. Because I was a fat loser. Yeah, I was a target, bro. He gave me such a hard punch in my back with the bangle, bro. I was choking, yeah. And when I got my breath back, I was choking. Everyone was fucking laughing at me in the classroom, because obviously in high school, bro, kids, they don't give a fuck, man. There's anything they laugh at. So, where was it? So if that happened to my son, I can't imagine what I'd say to him, because I know what I didn't react to this, bro. All my life, I feel like I've been prodded at. I feel like I've been prodded because I was fat, I was a target, I was a loser. Then I became a bit more less of a loser, and then no one fucking bullied me in college. No one fucking bullied me in uni. No one's ever bullied me there since then, bro. But then, like, as you know, I've had an incident recently. Bro, I had an incident recently, bro. One of my clients owed me money for a year and a half, and I finally got my money and washed my hands of them fuckers. And I said, I'm not going to mention them, but I washed my hands of them fuckers. I said, I'm not working with these fuckers again, bro. Unprofessional bastards. A year and a half for my money. Yeah, I left it there. A year after that, I get a random message saying, you still owe us a video. I'm like, what the fuck you on about? I don't owe you a video. And we had this disagreement that they thought I owed them a video, and I said I don't owe you a video, yeah? Right. Now this agreement went on for about 6 months, and there was back and forth. They were swearing at me and my family. I was saying, fuck you, swearing at them, all this bullshit. You know about this. You know what I'm talking about, bro. I'm not going to mention names. And loads of back and forth. Anyway, long story short, one day they knew I was filming at Encarns doing a shoot. Amir Khan came down. He was picking up a Range Rover from Encarns, and I was filming everything. And all of a sudden, this little rat fucking weasel comes out of nowhere and goes, "How you doing, bro? You alright?" So I shook his hand like I always do. Anybody comes up to me, bro, no matter who they are, immediately I give him a warm welcome. "How you doing, bro? You alright?" He goes, "Yeah, how you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, you good? Yeah, what's your name?" I'm always, bro. People who bump into me and come and say that to me, they'll know My guard's down all the time. I'm not the kind of person that has my guard up. So it's a shock because I've got my guard down. If you're coming at me with the negativity, it's a shock to me, bro. Now this kid, I shook his hand, little kid, and he goes, "Yeah, you owe money to these guys." I said, "No, don't. You know about?" I said, "They say I own my video. I don't own my video." And there was this bit of altercation in front of Amir Khan and all that. Very unprofessional for them. Now these fucking guys think they're gangsters, setting a little weasel like that down, bro. My son, Cammy's 5 years old, could have fucking sparked this kid out. My son could have sparked this kid out, yeah? Now this kid goes to me. He walks off and comes back about half an hour later. And in front of everybody, bro, the full car back full of people there for Amir Khan taking photos of him and stuff. I'm doing a video on that. And this little kid goes, why do you come over here? I'm going to knock you out. I look at him and thinking, bro, this kid his balls are bigger than mine. He's fucking, he weighs about 2 stone. If I turn on and flick him, he's dead. What am I going to do? Now, in that situation, bro, what am I supposed to do? So I'm ignoring him as much as I can, yeah.
How old was he? Was he like proper
He's
young?
he's a little teenager, like 15 year old, some little kid.
So
But
he's like one of them situations.
He's
If you
like-
get in a scuffle, he'd be like, "This is child abuse."
there's no scuffle, bro. What scuffle? He's gone.
Yeah.
But I didn't want the altercation, bro. You know what I mean? So he's calling me a pussy and all that. He's saying, swearing at me, swearing about this, and he's like all my life I felt this, bro, from people prodding me.
Yeah.
It's called antagonizing. He's antagonizing me. Now this is just a couple of months after my mum passed away.
Yeah.
And he swore at my mum. The last thing he did was he swore at my mum. And he had the phone out. He was recording. He was recording it, and he goes something like,
too far,
he goes, "Fuck your mum." I don't know, bro. Something in me just went, and I just grabbed the phone off him, and I grabbed him by the face, and I pushed him up against the wall, and then I had my camera in this hand. And if I didn't have my camera in this hand, bro, I'd have probably killed him, bro.
Yeah.
Luckily, by the grace of God, I had my camera in his hand, and I looked down and I had my camera, I left it, but I had my hand there like that on him, and then loads of other people came and grabbed him and pushed him away, and then he went on Snapchat and he posted the video of me pushing the phone out of his hand.
Yeah.
I said, "This guy hit me. Anybody out there, come and kill him. Come and run him. If you see him, run him over. All this shit." Now he supposedly got a gangster brother, gangster cousins, gangster this. But I don't give a shit, bro. You know what I mean? But
So what came out of that then?
nothing. But everyone started calling me pussy. Yeah. Now there's this thing which I don't agree with as well. Is if you don't retaliate to these fucking idiots, then you're a pussy. You're not a pussy. You're not a pussy. When you know that you can kill these bastards, but you don't touch them, you just walk away. Walking away is a bigger thing to do. Doesn't make you a pussy. I've never feared anybody in my life, bro. I didn't fear Omar. Again, sorry to bring it up, bro. I didn't fear him. I didn't fear. But I did fucking nightclub doors with some of the roughest bastards. I didn't fear none of them. But you don't know what could happen. I live in fear of consequence of my actions. I always live in fear of that, bro. Yeah, you know what I mean? I've never once punched anybody. Because what if I fucking go to prison the rest of my life for killing them? I know people who've died from being punched and fall over, hit the head in the concrete, bro. I know people who've been through that. So, you know, it's just that's just part of the thing I wanted to mention today.
But whatever it is, like obviously that situation, whatever happened, you know, with your clients and stuff, that's all squashed now anyway, isn't it? Or
And it's not necessarily squashed because nothing was ever done about that situation.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've got 3 kids at home. I've got a wife at home. I've got a house. I've got, I'm a professional guy. I've been about a bit. I'm not a fucking street thug who's going to go fighting on the streets, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, all of us have got animal inside of us who, if we want to let him out, then fucking all hell will break loose. We've all got that, bro. Not just me. Even the smallest little fucking kid has got that.
Yeah.
But it's about controlling that fucking animal inside and being a responsible fucking person. And not now, some people are fucking daft bastards, and they'll let that out, and then we know the person I'm fucking speaking about right now, bro, loves this kind of fucking drama and attention and fighting and negativity and fucking getting kicked shit. We know he's been plastered by every guy on the fucking Leeds Road. We know that already, bro. The guy I'm talking about, he gets plastered on a fucking daily basis, but he still comes back for more. I'm starting to think the guy's got something wrong in his fucking head. He's disabled in some fucking way in his head, I'm thinking. So if I was a kind of guy, if I didn't have a wife and kids, bro, and I had nothing to fucking live for, then I'd go around and I'd kick fuck out of all these bastards and I'd probably kill them. I'd probably be in prison already, bro. I'd probably be doing a fucking lifer right now. But I've decided to hone my fucking energies into other things and to have a family and to have a professional fucking career and to be I don't want to be known for in a negative light. The only people who think negatively of me, bro, are the people who I've burnt bridges with. And I've only burnt bridges with those people because they've made me feel disrespected, like I said earlier on in the podcast. You know what I mean? So, fuck all them guys. If anybody makes you feel upset or uncomfortable, then fuck them off. And everybody else, just be nice to, be humble. You know, be humble, be nice, be a good person. Have a good heart. Like, what the fuck is not difficult? You know what I mean? That's what I kind of wanted to get off my chest today. I think I've got it off my chest, most of it. I've mentioned a couple of people. It's funny because this Omar thing, again, sorry to mention it, this Omar thing, this Parminder thing, these things stuck with me because these things happened to me in high school. Plus many more things, bro. You know, one time I got punched in the face by the toughest guy in high school called Jordan. Punched me right in the flipping face.
No reason.
No reason, bro. I was getting changed. We were getting changed in the locker room for PE.
That really tall guy, wasn't it?
Jordan, yeah,
Black guy, yeah.
Bro, right in the flipping jaw. I didn't move. And from that day onwards, bro, he wanted to be my friend then. He goes, yeah, me and you are friends now. You're a tough bastard. You don't look like a tough bastard, but you can take a punch. Then me and him were friends for the rest of the high school, bro. Me and him were friends then. And he, you know, became. You know, sometimes he did his drug dealing and all that shit on the side.
There's kind
bro.
of gangs out there, and you know, like South America and stuff. Like, I think they call
if you show your
13
stuff,
or 18.
Yeah,
they call
yeah.
13 and 18, and
Yeah.
basically what they do is like to initiate you in a gang, they'll kick the shit out of you, and if you can withstand that beating, they'll be like, yes.
That's what he did, bro.
13.
He came from fucking behind me.
Yeah.
I had my fucking chuddies on, getting dressed for PE, and he give me a fucking whomper stomp in my jaw.
But imagine if you did that and you looked at him and go, is that a shot?
Bro, I would just look around like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
He was so shocked that I didn't go on the floor that he went with my friend then after that.
Bro,
and then there was another time my cousin, I had my younger cousin, Omar, he was in the year below me, yeah, and I was in the playground. This was like towards the end of school now, high school, so I wasn't, you know, in any bad bully situations, but he came running up to me and goes, Harris, them guys, and they took my football, can you get my football for me? So I'm like, I'm his cousin, I'm his older cousin, man. He's come to me, asked me to do something for him. What am I going to say? No, sorry, I can't. So I walk down onto the football field, yeah, and I see... A block, yeah, football field. And I walk down to the field and I see his ball and I pick it up. And he's a big black guy. I don't know what his name was.
I know who you're on about.
Came running at me, bro, 100 mile an hour. What was?
Hervey.
I don't know who it was, bro. I don't. My cousin will know his name.
Yeah.
The guy was like the Hulk, bro.
The guy looked like he was 6'4", but he was only year 7.
Bro, he came running at me, yeah. I picked up the football, yeah. My cousin's football, I picked it up. This guy came out of nowhere running at me like the guy. Like, you seen that film Get Out?
Yeah.
Where like that. This guy come running at me like that, bro, and he fucking jumped like to fucking like barge me out the way. You know what I mean? But he jumped on me, barged me, and then fell on the floor, and I stood there like that with the football in my hand. Because I'm obviously a big fat bastard, bro. I'm heavy, you know what I mean? So he thought he was gonna pummel me. The guy fucking fell back, and he got up and he walked off, and I gave the ball out to my cousin. My cousin thought I was a fucking superhero for the day. You know what I mean? And that story still I mention that story to my cousin because I thought to myself, you know, my cousin's come to me and I've helped him out. You know what I mean? It's a big thing for me that. So, you know, there's these things, bro. But it's just the moral of what I wanted to talk about today was what your actions might be nothing to you, but might affect someone for the rest of their fucking life, bro. Now I'm not mean your cousin, bro, and I didn't mean to drop it on you like that. I didn't mention it before the podcast started.
I
so you
was shocked.
I didn't mean to shock you, and it's nothing personal against you, bro. I forgive him for what he did. I forgive him. We were kids, and it's nothing against you, bro. Me and you got love, bro. Don't worry about it. But I'm saying things that you do even today can affect someone for the rest of their fucking life. Be fucking careful what you're doing and saying, because people could then commit suicide for what you say to them, bro. How are you gonna live the rest of your fucking life when someone you affect someone in that way negatively, bro? You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to get off my chest today, because things have happened to me in my life, bro, which I still think about today. I'm 31 years old. I'm still thinking about when I was a kid. What happened to me? Certain things happened to me, bro.
And going back to like what you were saying,
and I have a fucking fear, bro, of our kids. And when you have kids, what the fuck are we gonna do, bro, to stop them from living a life?
Now listen, this is why I was going back to now. But you were saying like, oh yeah, I don't know what I should say to my kid if he was getting bullied. Yeah. So what you do on an early age, you know, when you play with your child, yeah, you kind of get him into the mentality of like, you know what, you're gonna get knocked down, but you get back up. You know what I mean? and you show your true power. Like what I do with my nephews, is we play like a little boxing game, and boxing is one of them things that kind of shows a lot of discipline and a lot of determination and a lot of heart. Life is like kind of, it's like boxing in a way. Like you know, you're going every day round by round, you know what I mean? Every day is a round. You're trying to like kind of survive, you know what I mean? That's what it is. So I play with this little game with him, so I pretend I'm Tyson Fury, world champion, and he's like an upcoming boxer, and I beat him. No, I don't mean physically kick the shit out of him, you know what I mean? But like just play matching, and I say, oh, you know what, you lost today, I'm the champion, yeah. And then I'll see what his mentality is like, and he'll be like, oh, he starts crying in it. But then what I do is I pretend I'm like, the press with the camera, and I'm like, ching ching, look at you crying, ching ching. And he's like, no, I'm not crying. Then he kind of, dust himself off in it. He goes, I want to fight him again. And I'll be like, okay, well, we'll talk to Tyson. Tyson, what do you say? And Tyson will be like, yeah, I'm going to fight him again. And you see his mentality like change a bit, like to say, right, okay, I've got a chance. Then I say, right, okay, what you need to do, you need to start training. So it kind of builds him up a bit more, innit? It gives that confidence to the child, innit? It shows that, like the kind of, overwhelmed by kind of, negativity at one point, but then they come out of it by kind of saying, you know what, let's go have a fight again, but obviously not physically go out, kick shit out of people, but obviously you say this is just playtime, innit? It just sets them up, innit? You know what I mean? You push the boundaries, innit, to get more, through life easier.
Yeah, I think it's a bit deeper than that, bro. You're talking about physical toughness. I'm talking about mental toughness.
It's
bro.
mental toughness as well. Like for example, I tell him to do like kind of run back and forward. Yeah, he runs back and forward. I say, all right, do it 10 times. He does it 10 times, but then I go again, and he'll do it again, and I'll say again. He'll do it again. Now at his point mentally, he would have thought 10 was enough for me. But I'm saying, no, do it again. So that way, he's getting stronger. Mentally, he's getting stronger there, innit? You know what I mean? So it is good in a way. But obviously, I don't fucking kill him with that shit, you know what I mean?
You're right, but at the end of the day, it's the same way, whereas that will work for one person. It won't work for everybody.
Yeah.
Because if you look at people who are veterans, army veterans, they go through a lot of discipline, and they have one of the biggest depressions.
Exactly.
And
suicide rate as well, high.
And you can't say they're not disciplined.
Yeah,
Wake up every morning, make their bed,
shine
go
their shoes,
for a jog, make sure their weapons and everything else that they need to do is in check. They are disciplined to the T.
Mm-hmm.
One of my relatives, he was in the army, and once he retired, this is quite an elderly gentleman now. He's still in that routine. He's like a sergeant. So what he does is he wakes up, even if he hasn't got a bit of hair coming out of his face, he gets a razor, he shaves himself. His routine, 600 hours, he's up. He's one of those completely disciplined. But when I've chatted to him a few times, I can tell there's underlying issues with him. There's certain things that he probably wants to say, but because he's a sergeant, he feels like if I talk about it, it basically lowers me in rank or something. So Z's got a point, but at the end of the day, like you said, not physical is always the sort of thing that will, upset you. What they say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Yeah, words do hurt, bro.
Yeah.
Words
But sometimes the sticks and stones can hurt, and so can the words. The words, like you said,
the words have more than sticks and stones, bro.
Yeah. It can be very damaging to a kid. At the end of the day, kids are sponges. They absorb everything they see.
Yeah.
So that's why they say, people think, oh yeah, there's GTA's out, just let him play, it's alright. But when your kid then wants to drive your car and run over the same guy 10 times because he thinks it's fun, and some cash is just going to blip up on top of it, you've got some sort of issue going on there.
Okay. That'd be a psycho kid, isn't it?
I think that's time, bro. Thank you again thank you for today.
Time, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Time. Ding, ding, ding.
Heather, appreciate it, bro. Yeah, no hard feelings, bro. Big love to you, yeah.
Guys, before we call this quiz, if any of your names have been mentioned in this podcast and you never knew that you had such a horrific impact on Harris, we just want to make you know that he forgives you now. Am I right? And there's no beef here. We don't want people saying, yo, tell him I'm coming for him round 2. You know what I mean?
Listen,
we don't want any of that shit.
Listen. Everything aside now, yeah. I've had so many messages asking me to shout people out. If you want to shout out on the podcast, if you want to collaborate with us, if you want to be a sponsor for the podcast, please email heavyhitterzpodcast@gmail.com. It's down here on the screen right now. I'll put it on the screen.
Or you can do the Heavy Hitters Instagram page.
Yeah, but email for business inquiries, collaboration inquiries, sponsorship inquiries, to get a shout out on the podcast. Email heavyhitterzpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you on there, and that's where you get your opportunity to collaborate with us. The podcast will grow slowly but surely. So far, the response has been amazing. Thank you very much for everybody who's watching, listening, and who's giving us the feedback. The comments section is beautiful. Everyone who's really enjoying it, and it's us just talking about things. It does actually affect and mean a lot to people, bro. I've seen the messages, the comments, and everything. So
lovely comments,
lovely messages. Some deep messages from people messaging me saying,
people are so. I gotta say, man. I will read some of the comments here. They are so very detailed with the comments. Like someone goes, "Z, you keep twitching," and
I've told Z he's got mild Tourette's from when we used to go back to uni together. He sometimes goes,
guys, I have a saying, twitching it.
He's just supposed to be Michael Jackson.
I told him, go see a doctor, but he's got a mentality that he'll live with it.
I've got a twitch in it. What can I do? I can't be a bitch about it, you know what I mean? I just got a twitch.
You got a twitch, don't be a bitch.
Exactly. But yeah, see you later.
Anyway, big love to Z.
Big love to F&D.
Big love to HD Header on the camera.
HD Header. Soon going 4K.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and we'll see you guys next podcast next week.